welcome to the channel. In this video, we're diving into the world of hidden treasures as we explore the top 4 most expensive and ultra-rare U.S. Monticello Jefferson Nickel coins. With rare P, D, and S mint marks, even in dirty or worn condition, these nickels that may seem ordinary collectors and investors could actually be worth thousands or even millions of dollars today. So before you spend that old nickel, stick around because you might just be holding a fortune in your hands. First up, coin number 1. The Monticello Jefferson Nickel of 1943, struck with the bold S mint mark of San Francisco, stands as one of the most captivating coins in American history, a treasure born in an era when the world was at war and every ounce of metal carried weight beyond imagination. At first sight, it may appear as a simple, dirty, worn 5-cent piece, coated with silver tones dulled by the years, but hidden within its surfaces is a story of struggle, survival, and the unexpected chance of fortune that today transforms it into a collector's dream. To hold such a coin is not just a grass medal. It is to hold a slice of a chapter when the nation's very future was uncertain. When 1943 dawned, the United States was fully immersed in the chaos of World War II. Nickel, the very metal that gave the coin its name, was desperately needed for production of military equipment, from armor plating to weapons that fueled the fight for freedom. The government faced a choice: keep making nickels with nickel, or sacrifice that metal for the war effort. The answer was clear. Nickel was stripped from coinage, and in its place came a new alloy composed of silver, copper, and manganese, giving rise to what collectors now call the war nickels. It was in this extraordinary moment that the 1943 S Jefferson Nickel was struck, forever separating from ordinary coinage. The S mint mark on this coin is not merely a letter. It is a badge of honor. It reveals that the coin was born in the San Francisco Mint, a facility known for smaller mintages and higher demand among collectors. Unlike the massive output of Philadelphia, San Francisco's production was more limited, which means every 1943 S nickel carries an extra layer of scarcity. In a world where rarity defines value, that tiny letter S etched on the reverse above Monticello transforms this coin into a golden opportunity for anyone who finds one today. Its silver content also adds allure, though technically not a silver dollar. This war nickel is laced with actual silver, a precious metal that grants the coin intrinsic value even in its dirtiest, most worn state. Over time, many of these coins have lost their shine, bearing the stains of circulation, the scars of pockets and purses, and even odd stickers or markings. But these imperfections only heighten the drama. To a collector, a dirty or stickered 1943 S may still hide immense worth, especially if it holds minting quirks, double dies, or full steps on Monticello stairs, details that can propel the value from a few dollars into thousands. The story of the Jefferson Nickel itself intertwines with American ideals. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin debuted in 1938 to honor Thomas Jefferson, the visionary statesman whose Monticello home became a symbol of intellect and independence. But when war swept across the globe, this tribute to Jefferson also became a quiet symbol of sacrifice. Ordinary Americans gave up the comfort of true nickel coins so the military could use the metal to build a shield of defense. Thus, the 1943 S Jefferson Nickel represents not only commerce, but also patriotism minted in metal. Today, collectors chase these coins not just for their silver, but for their story. The 1943 S nickel whispers of wartime factories roaring with production, families rationing supplies, soldiers heading overseas, and the quiet resilience of a nation united in struggle. To own one is to hold an artifact that connects the present to that moment, a reminder that coins are not just money but silent witnesses to history. And yet, its market mystique cannot be overlooked. Auction houses have seen stunning results when pristine or error 1943 S nickels come to the block. Coins graded in the highest conditions, blazing with original luster despite the passage of decades, have fetched unimaginable sums. Even circulated coins, especially those with rare varieties, have commanded prices far above their humble face value. For the lucky finder, one tucked away in a forgotten box, or picked up unknowingly in circulation decades ago, this nickel holds the power to alter destiny overnight. What makes the 1943 S Jefferson Nickel so electrifying is that it sits at the crossroads of rarity, history, and chance. Millions were struck, yet millions were melted, lost, or discarded. The few that remain today carry stories untold, fortunes hidden, and possibilities that spark dreams. Every dirty coin could be the one that hides a rare feature. Every dull nickel could be the golden key that unlocks wealth beyond imagination. The coin is also a lesson in disguise. Many people glance at it, see a common nickel, and dismiss it. But those who take the time to look closer, to inspect the S, to study the details, may uncover something life-changing. It is a reminder that fortune often hides in plain sight, waiting only for the curious and the patient to recognize it. The 1943 S Jefferson Nickel has become more than currency. It is a symbol of resilience, sacrifice, and the unpredictability of wealth. Its silver glow, its wartime heritage, its San Francisco birthmark, all combined create an object of fascination that transcends generations. Even in its dirtiest form, even marked with stickers or dull by age, this coin possesses an aura of power. It represents the truth that what may appear ordinary can in fact be extraordinary. To hold it is to cradle both history and destiny in your palm, and for the right coin, the right condition, that destiny can indeed change your life forever. Next up, the Monticello Jefferson Nickel of 1964, struck without a mint mark, carries a weight of history and mystery that few coins can rival. At first glance, it might look like just another worn piece of metal, a dirty 5-cent coin passed from hand to hand over decades. Yet behind its modest face lies a tale of enormous production, hidden rarities, and the potential for unimaginable wealth for the one lucky enough to hold a truly exceptional specimen. To see it with ordinary eyes is to see only 5 cents, but to view it through the lens of numismatic history is to realize this coin could be the key to fortune. The year 1964 was a turning point in the history of American coinage. Across the country, there was a severe coin shortage, a crisis fueled by the booming economy and the rising demand for small change in everyday commerce. People were hoarding coins, anticipating that their silver content might soon vanish forever. The U.S. Mint responded with urgency, striking an unprecedented number of Jefferson Nickels in 1964. It was a flood of coinage like never before, and at its core, the nickel without a mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, became a central figure in this historic push. Yet despite its massive mintage, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel holds its allure and rarity of quality, and in the hidden errors and varieties born from such high production. When millions of coins are rushed out, mistakes happen. Some nickels left the mint with double features, missing elements, or unusual die marks. These rare accidents, invisible to the untrained eye, are the very details that make collectors stop and stare, their hearts racing the thought of discovering a treasure disguised as pocket change. The design itself carries a timeless weight. On the obverse, Jefferson's steady gaze and dignified presence remind us of the statesman who penned the Declaration of Independence. On the reverse, Monticello stands proudly, a monument not only to Jefferson's intellect but to the enduring spirit of America. For the 1964 nickel, the absence of a mint mark signifies its birth in Philadelphia, a city that served as the cradle of the nation itself. That tiny omission is not just a detail. It is a clue to its origins, a stamp of heritage that collectors treasure. Over the years, countless 1964 nickels have slipped through the cracks, spending decades in pockets, drawers, and dusty jars. Some appear dull, stained, or even marked with odd stickers or discolorations. Yet condition is the ultimate game changer. A nickel that still bears sharp details, clear steps on Monticello stairways, and a natural shine untouched by circulation can command prices that defy imagination. A flawless 1964 nickel, graded at the highest levels, transforms from 5 cents to a fortune, sometimes reaching into thousands, and in rare cases, igniting bidding wars that push it toward unbelievable heights. The coin shortage of 1964 also cemented its reputation. As people hoarded silver dimes, quarters, and half-dollars, the humble nickel became a silent witness to the transition away from silver in U.S. coinage. It survived not because of its metal, but because of its function, bridging a period of economic change and uncertainty. In this way, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel is more than money. It is an artifact of a pivotal moment when Americans clutched their coins with both fear and hope for the future. The value of the 1964 nickel lies not only in its physical condition, but in its ability to spark wonder. Imagine finding one in a forgotten jar, a dirty coin dismissed as junk, only to realize it carries a rare doubling, a mint error, or the coveted full steps designation. In that instant, what seemed worthless could be the very piece to catapult an ordinary person into extraordinary fortune. That is the thrill this coin embodies, the promise that hidden riches may lie in plain sight. Collectors chase the 1964 nickel not because of its abundance, but because of the surprises buried within its massive production. It is the paradox of coin collecting. The most common coins can sometimes hold the most uncommon treasures. The dirty, tarnished nickel in your palm may be the same one others would overlook, yet under the right light in the right hands, it could reveal its secret worth. The absence of a mint mark on this 1964 coin tells us something else too. It reflects the democratic spirit of coinage in Philadelphia, where coins were made not for rarity but for utility. Yet within this mission of mass production, scarcity emerged through chance, through error, through preservation against the odds. That is why this nickel resonates so strongly. It proves that even in a sea of millions, individual uniqueness can shine. What gives this coin its mystique is its ability to be both ordinary and extraordinary at once. For most, it remains an everyday nickel, overlooked and undervalued. But for the one who recognizes its hidden beauty, its potential errors, or its pristine condition, it becomes a symbol of overnight transformation. This duality, the blend of commonality and potential fortune, is what makes the 1964 Jefferson Nickel one of the most fascinating coins in American history. As decades pass, the survivors grow fewer, and the special examples become even more coveted. Every year that slips by increases a chance that one discovered in a forgotten place could rewrite someone's destiny. A coin struck in haste, born of shortage, overlooked by millions, now carries the power to inspire dreams of wealth, heritage, and history. The Monticello Jefferson Nickel of 1964, no mint mark, is not merely a 5-cent piece. It is a time capsule and nation in transition, a hidden gem waiting to reward the eyes sharp enough to see beyond its dirt and wear. And for the fortunate finder, it just might be the coin that changes everything overnight. Next up, the Monticello Jefferson Nickel of 1969 with no mint mark may look like one of the most ordinary coins you can hold in your hand, but within its plain appearance lies a story of value, rarity, and mystery that has fascinated collectors for decades. Imagine stumbling upon a dirty, dull nickel that looks forgotten by time, only to discover that it is not just a coin. It could be a hidden treasure worth unimaginable sums, capable of changing your life overnight, such as the legend of the 1969 Jefferson Nickel without a mint mark, a coin that whispers of history and fortune. The year 1969 was an important moment in American history, and the coinage of the United States reflected that turbulent yet ambitious spirit. The country was on the edge of the 1970s, a new decade of change, but the Jefferson Nickel remained one of the constants of the American pocket. Bearing the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the grand design of Monticello on the reverse, it was a coin rooted in tradition, yet each strike carried with it the chance of rarity. Those nickels struck in Philadelphia carried no mint mark, and while millions were made, the beauty of coin collecting is that not every coin is created equal. Within those millions, extraordinary survivors exist, coins with special characteristics that make them priceless today. One of the greatest sources of value in Jefferson nickels comes from their condition. A 1969 nickel with no mint mark that still shows sharp details of Jefferson's hair, his cheek, and the crisp lettering around his profile is far from ordinary. On the reverse, Monticello is the key. If the steps leading to the famous building are struck fully and clearly, collectors call it full steps, and this tiny detail can send the value of the coin soaring. What was once a 5-cent piece becomes a coin that sparks bidding wars among collectors who understand just how rare such perfection is from that year. Errors are another source of fortune, and the 1969 no mint mark nickel carries with the possibility of hidden anomalies. Double die obverse, misplaced mint marks, unusual metal compositions, or striking problems all create a level of uniqueness that transforms an everyday coin into a priceless rarity. A dirty coin that may seem ordinary to one person could reveal, under careful inspection, these kinds of errors that instantly raise its worth to incredible levels. To hold a 1969 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is to hold a piece of American coinage history in your hand. By this time, silver had already been stripped from the dime and quarter, and though the nickel itself had never been composed of silver except during wartime, it stood as a reminder of how quickly change could come to American money. This coin became a symbol of stability, carrying forward the design that had begun in 1938, yet each year added new layers of history and new opportunities for collectors to find hidden treasure among the common. The legend of the dirty old nickel with unusual tones, or what you call a silver sticker, adds yet another layer to its mystique. Sometimes age and storage conditions create toning, where the surface of the coin develops unique colors, bluish hues, golden highlights, or silver-like shines. While many would mistake this for damage, seasoned collectors know that such natural toning can make a coin even more desirable. The one-of-a-kind appearance turns an already rare piece into a true showpiece worth far more than its humble face value. Think for a moment about the journey of such a coin. From the bustling mint presses of Philadelphia in 1969, to decades of circulation through countless hands, and then perhaps resting forgotten in a jar or drawer, it waits for rediscovery. That journey alone adds to its aura. A coin that once bought a piece of candy or a ride on a bus could today hold the power to alter its owner's fortune forever. The possibility of unimaginable wealth tied to this coin is what fuels collectors' passion. Some of these nickels in pristine condition have been known to sell for thousands, and when unique varieties are discovered, the numbers can climb beyond imagination. The dream of finding one worth millions is not just fantasy. It is a driving hope behind every coin collector who sifts through their change and inspects each old piece they come across. When you look closely at the 1969 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, you realize that its value is more than monetary. It is symbolic. It is a reminder that treasures can hide in plain sight, waiting to be recognized. The dull surface, the dirty condition, the ordinary appearance, none of these erase the truth that this coin may be extraordinary. Every scratch, every mark of circulation tells a story, but beneath it lies the possibility of perfection, of rarity, of fortune beyond imagination. The Monticello nickel design itself plays into this magic. Monticello is not just a building. It is a monument to Jefferson's vision of America. To have it struck perfectly, with every line visible, makes the coin more than currency. It makes it a work of art, a miniature monument carried through time. Collectors seek this not only for its financial worth, but for the beauty and historical weight it represents. And so, the 1969 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark stands as both a relic and a revelation. For some, it will remain an unnoticed piece of pocket change, but for those with sharp eyes and an appreciation for history, it becomes a golden opportunity hidden within base metal. Its rarity, its possible errors, its preserved beauty, and even its unusual tones all combine to make it one of the coins that can indeed transform your fortune overnight. In the end, this coin is not just about 5 cents. It is about the thrill of discovery, the joy of history, and the dream of wealth that still lingers in the most unexpected places. That dirty, silver-toned nickel lying forgotten might just be the key to unimaginable riches. And once found, it proves that fortune can indeed come from the most ordinary of things. The Monticello Jefferson Nickel of 1962 with a D mint mark is one of those coins that can appear so ordinary at first glance. Yet beneath its worn surface lies a story of rarity, history, and the chance of unimaginable fortune. Picture holding a dull, dirty coin in your hand, with nothing but a faint glimmer of age upon it, and suddenly realizing it is not just a piece of pocket change. It is a time traveler from an era of transformation in American coinage, an artifact that could carry a value so extraordinary it has the power to change your life overnight. The year 1962 was part of a restless decade in American history. The country was surging with confidence, industry was booming, and coinage was in higher demand than ever before. The Denver Mint, marked with a simple D beneath the image of Monticello, was tasked with producing millions of Jefferson nickels to keep commerce moving. Yet, as in all great stories of abundance, rarity hides and cracks. Within the millions struck, there were coins that bore errors, coins that carried sharper details, and coins that, through sheer chance of preservation, would one day command fortunes. The design of the Jefferson Nickel, unchanged since its introduction in 1938, carried the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. His gaze is steady, almost timeless, as though watching the nation grow decade after decade. On the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's proud Virginia state, anchors the design. But in 1962, the D Mint mark gave it a distinctive identity, signaling its origin in the bustling Denver Mint. That tiny letter would one day make collectors' hearts skip a beat, for it separated the Philadelphia strikes from Denver's treasures. When so many coins are produced, the chance of striking anomalies becomes inevitable. Some 1962, D. Nickels left the mint with double-die errors, repunched mint marks, or unusual surface details that escaped the mint's inspection. These are the coins that, in today's market, can bring unimaginable sums. A coin that was once worth 5 cents could soar into thousands, even millions, under the right circumstances. For collectors, the thrill lies in uncovering one of these rare survivors in the most unlikely of places: a dusty drawer, a jar of forgotten change, or even lying dirty and ignored in a marketplace. But the true magic of the 1962 D. Jefferson Nickel lies not just in its errors, but in its condition. When preserved in flawless mint state, its value skyrockets beyond comprehension. Imagine a coin with every line on Jefferson's hair crisp, every window on Monticello sharp, and the steps leading up to that great building perfectly defined. Collectors call it full steps, and such a designation can mean the difference between a nickel worth a handful of dollars and one that can fetch staggering sums. That is a lottery hidden in plain sight, the fortune resting quietly in an old coin. History, too, gives this coin its weight. By 1962, whispers were already beginning about the future of silver in American coinage. Just a few years later, in 1965, silver would vanish from dimes and quarters altogether, leaving the nickel as one of the steady survivors of change. The 1962 D. Nickel, then, is a relic of the last calm before the storm, a reminder of a nation about to reshape its coinage forever. In this way, it is not only valuable in the marketplace, but priceless as a storyteller of American history. The dirty, worn coins that bear the scars of circulation still hold mystery. Sometimes a discoloration or sticker-like mark on the surface can hint at unusual toning, an effect of age and storage that, rather than diminishing its value, can actually increase it. Collectors chase these unique colors, fiery rainbows and silver tones, that transform a simple nickel into a work of art. What looks like damage to the untrained, may actually be the very thing that adds thousands to its worth. And then there's a dream, the possibility that your forgotten nickel, tossed aside and ignored, could be the golden ticket. Stories circulate in numismatic circles of coins discovered in dirty, unassuming conditions, only to be revealed as ultra-rare varieties worth life-changing money. The 1962 D. Nickel embodies this dream more than most because its mint errors and full-step examples are so passionately sought after. When you think of the billions of coins minted in the U.S., it is astonishing to realize that a single one, a 1962 D. Jefferson Nickel in exceptional condition, can rise from obscurity to command a fortune. That is the paradox of coin collecting. Value is not always in rarity of numbers, but in rarity of perfection and accident. The nickel that once jingled in someone's pocket as a meaningless 5 cents could now be the very key to unimaginable wealth. The Jefferson Nickel series itself carries a legacy of endurance. It outlasted many other coin designs, surviving wars, economic changes, and even the removal of silver from coinage. The 1962 D. Nickel stands as a representative of this resilience, a coin that still circulates yet can also be the centerpiece of a world-class collection. Its story is one of survival, rarity, and hidden riches waiting to be uncovered. For the person who holds one today, the message is clear. Do not overlook it. Do not trade it away at its face value. What looks like a dirty coin with a faint D could be the one piece that has the power to transform your destiny. In the right condition, with the right detail, this coin can elevate you from ordinary to extraordinary overnight. The Monticello Jefferson Nickel of 1962. D is not just a coin. It is an invitation to dream, to believe that hidden treasures can still exist in the smallest corners of life. It is proof that fortune does not always announce itself with glittering gold. Sometimes it hides in the humble nickel, waiting for the right pair of eyes to recognize its worth. And when that moment comes, this coin could indeed have the power to change your fortune forever.